Yep, you heard it here, folks. The biggest nerf to new players is going to be coming in about 4 days and probably like 10 hours ish, right? And that is the newest update with Robin, and Boot Hill is going to remove Dr. Ratio for free. If you already have him, there's no need to worry, right? But new players, especially those who are probably going to be free to play or don't spend too much, they're going to want a DPS, right? Now, Ratio is an excellent DPS, and the fact that he was free meant that you can save resources on DPSs, right? Because realistically, you need 2 teams for MOC, right? Let me hop in. Oh, cool. I'm getting my login rewards. Cool, 90 Jades. Would love to see that. So, for MOC, which is, most of the end game, you need 2 teams. And when free-to-play players start, they don't have too many options, right? So, what this does is you get Ratio, right? So, boom, Ratio. And let's say you have, like, Don Hang as your other DPS, right? Then it's like, okay, I need a sustain. Natasha's free. Lynx is free. Where is she at? I actually have her built. All right, boom. All right, and then you're thinking, what are my other options, right? Well, Yukong is free, so let's say Yukong, right? You want another unit. Let's say, what's another like free unit that could be good? Let's just say Serval, right? Boom. DPS, sub DPS, support, DPS. Then from there, right, you can summon for characters. Like, let's say you get a random 5-star. Regardless of who it is, you could replace one of the characters. If it's a DPS, replace DPS. You pretty much have like a solid okay team going if you have Ratio. Now, remove Ratio, and you suddenly, when you start the game, you're really banking on your 5-star being a DPS. Trust me, I was using Jeopard, so my starting team looked a little like this. So it was Jeopard, I had Natasha for healing, I used Su Shang, and then I believe I used Sampo just because I had dupes in him, right? This team doesn't really scream DPS. There's a lot of times I would fail something just because I couldn't do enough damage, and then I'd eventually die, or if it was someone in the universe, it would make the enemy just do a bunch of damage, right? So having a DPS to start out with Ratio on the no pull account that I have, granted, I did the first little bit of Bellabog without him. I think I beat Cocolia before I even got Dr. Ratio because I did it before during Ho-Ho's patch, so I could get the light cone that was free. Everything since I've gotten Ratio has been pretty easy peasy. Unless I'm like super underleveled, Ratio just clears about everything for me, so I haven't had to struggle at all. But when I first started Star Rail, having no DPS was absolutely insane. It sucked. And the best thing about Ratio, you don't need his light cone. I have his light cone because I like the character, and I think this is an excellent general use hunt light cone, right? That's why I got it, but I spend money on the game, right? If you have the Herder Shop one, which you can get for free, max out, it helps you with crit rate, which is good, right? And then when you defeat an enemy, you get an attack buff. Or if you pull the Yanqing one through, losing your light cone, 75, 20, or 25, or yeah, that's what the ratios are. Or you get it from the standard bandit, you can use this as like a stat stick. I'm not a huge fan of like the crit rate thing, right? But the crit damage is nice, gives you 30%, helps you with your stat rolls. Ratio is pretty much self-efficient, right? Now, you aren't going to be getting the full buffs from stuff like deduction where you need 3 debuffs because not everyone's going to have debuffers. Trust me, on the no pull account where I didn't summon, I had no options, and now I'm just getting Gwyfyn, right? A lot of people aren't going to drop a ton of money, and while Star Rail does give a lot of currency, you could straight up just get unlucky, right? Like, let's say I started Star Rail right now, and I'm a big fan of Robin, or I'm a big fan of Jinglu, or I'm a big fan of Aventurine, right? Well, Aventurine's a bit different because he does actually do debuffs, but Jinglu's not going to be on the same team. And let's just say I pull a 5-star and they are on Ratio's team, at the other team. There is a chance that you could pull 4-stars that don't inflict debuffs, meaning you're not going to get the full benefit of this. But like I said, he doesn't need it. It's going to make your RNG on the follow-up attack through his talent after you skill a bit harder, but it's not needed because he also inflicts it on his own, meaning that if you inflict the effect res, his summonation can stack all by himself, and when you get the summonation up, you get your crit rate and crit damage up, and you're good to go. Then it's just banking on actually hitting the follow-up attacks. But if you get his ultimate up and you hit it, he does follow attacks there, so you're still doing a good amount of damage. He has a damaging ult, damaging skill, and follow-up attacks, so all of his stuff does damage, which is really good because when you have a character who's a DPS and let's say their skill doesn't do too much damage, their ultimate doesn't really help too much damage wise, it's gonna suck, right? I feel like having a DPS at the beginning of the game is actually very good. I preach having a good sustain, but I think we're at the point where having characters such as like Natasha or Lynx offer up is just very, very strong, especially Lynx, right? Because she has the continuous healing, and there's just so many more 4 stars who are a bit beefier and can do a lot more damage than on day one. Like, I can't imagine starting the game and you have like Zhue as your damage dealer, or you have like Misha for freezes, or you have like I said, Lynx for healing, or imagine Gallagher for healing. I feel like I wouldn't even like care about having any other defense just because he heals so much and he has like the break effect stuff, or even pulling like a 5 star. That's pretty good. Like back in my day, I didn't even get Zele. I just got Jing Yun, and the difference between Jing Yun and getting someone like, let's say, like Ron Mei or Ho Ho or whoever is just so strong. That's not like, oh my gosh, I need, you know, so much sustain because the enemies hit so hard. The DPSs are so strong, you can really just clear stuff without having to worry about it. And Ratio is one of those DPSs. I'm struggling to find him. Oh, there he is. Like I said before, on my no pull account, the second I started using Ratio, everything that was like really hard for me to beat because I was using like Don Hang, Serval, all 8-0, Ratio cleared it. It was not even close. This character is so good, and it's going to be so sad going forward for new players who aren't going to get him because, well, you can still summon for him, right? I'm not the biggest Ratio fan. I don't really care what he does in story. Like, he's a cool character, but regardless if you like him in story, having him for just gameplay purposes helps out so much. And I wish there's a way for them going forward. I think, okay, well, here's the thing. Since he is a 5-star character and he's a premium character, it makes sense for them to take him away from being free always, just because when he reruns, which will probably be like, what, an update or two, right? They need to make money. If he's always free, some people who don't care to go for dupes are never going to summon for him. So in a business decision, I understand. But it really sucks that he is not a free permanent character like someone like, let's say, Lynx or Yukong. It would help out a bunch. So if you're watching this video and you somehow haven't claimed him, claim him right now, right? And if you're someone who is not too sure about starting Star Rail, 100% make an account just to grab Ratio. And if you don't like the game, don't worry about it. And if you do, you have Ratio for free. It's a big W, right? Now, if you are watching this video and Ratio is gone, I'm truly sorry. He is extremely good. And if you do like the character, I think it is worth summoning for him whenever he comes back. He is very, very strong. And I know it's kind of like rough though, because if you don't get him and you see everyone else had him for free, it almost makes people think he's worse, because when people see free units, a lot of the time they don't think they're that good, right? I have the same mentality, especially because I played a bunch of other gacha games where free units are pretty much just dead instantly. They're like, have no use whatsoever. So, when you think of Ratio, you're like, oh, well, he's a free unit. Even though he's a 5-star, who cares? Like, the 5-star physical MC sucks. Like, who cares, And, luckily Ratio kind of breaks that. He's extremely good, but I know a lot of people are definitely going to brush him off because of that. But like I said, I do think he is easily a good summonable character if you are new and want a DPS. But he's still available right now, so I urge you, please, please, please get him. If you, make a side account like I do, make sure to grab him like a free-to-play account or like a no-pull account, or you just want a second account, maybe in another region, whatever it may be. Make sure to do it before Ratio goes. I urge you. He's a very strong character. But on that, that'll be it for the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll catch y'all in the next Honkai Star Rail video.